and good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. I'm your host, and you are welcome to the Spotlight Show. My name is Jabez Napoleon Ogbole, and I'm always excited every Sunday evening. It used to be evening, but now we're live 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So good afternoon. I'm very happy to be with you today. So yes, thank you so much for joining. If you're watching me from your TV, your laptop, mobile devices, thank you so much. Yes, you are on the Spotlight Show, and we are broadcasting live from the city of Toronto in Canada through the GPKM network. So I want to say a special thanks to every one of you. And why not, tell your friends and family about this program, like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And as I've said several times in the past episode, we have our own app right now. If you go to the Play Store or App Store, you should see our app, GBKM. So search for it and download it, and you can also join me live. And of course, go to our Facebook channel as well, GBKM FM. So welcome, guys. And of course, this show is made possible by your viewership and everyone that supports us. Thank you so much. So quick shout out to our corporate sponsors. Africa Young Entrepreneur with their e-trust fund. I want to say a quick thank you, and of course, check them out, www.ayeonline.org. Special thanks to Imani's Place, www.imanisplace.org, a wonderful shelter, black-owned and led by wonderful females there. Pan-African Arts, Culture and Trade Institute, Pakati powers this program. We're very grateful for their partnership, and of course, Daniela Corporation, a wonderful startup in the mining industry based in Alberta, and of course, thanks to Top Run Consulting. Top Run Consulting is one of our, powerful and corporate sponsors that make this show possible every week. And a quick shout out to them. Like I always say, every week they have amazing programs. You're looking for, new career in technology, or you're already in technology, you're looking for, ways to get certified in other applications. Why not? Or if you're just looking for a community of like-minded, you want to network, who are all in the tech space, that's a go-to place. Please reach out to them, www.toprun.ca. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Today's episode is going to be very, very interesting, because I really want us to be relaxed and be able to, look at things from a very different perspective. And what is today's topic? Today's topic is, how happy are people in your country? Yes, we have about 195 countries according to UN. In all those 195 countries, which of those countries have the happiest people and the least happy people? Let's rub minds today and see, because who knows? I'm sure there are some people watching right now, or maybe when you see the recording, you're wondering, okay, maybe I want to visit a country whereby people are always happy, or maybe I want to migrate to another country where people are always happy. Why not? Let's see, what are those countries and what are those metrics being used to measure, and then come up with this particular report that says this country are the happiest versus this country. That's what we're going to take a look at today. And obviously, yes, so we're going to go straight into today's topic, and I just want to introduce the topic and let you know that, in today's topic, we're going to be looking at the happiest country on every continent. We're going to take it continent by continent, because there's so many countries, okay? And the data being used in today's topic, obviously, special thanks to the World Happiness Report. Very wonderful report. Since 2012, I believe they've been running a report every year to look at different factors and measure happiness across the world. So they rank 156 countries in the report we're going to look at now. So we're actually going to look at 2019 and 2020 report. Very, very important. And let's see how COVID has really shifted things in terms of happiness across the world. So we break down rankings by continent and region, so we can have a clearer picture and they actually understand how did this country get to this particular phase or stage. How much happier would you be? It's because last year I talked about, what is more important? Is it, your dreams or money? Because people equate money to happiness. Well, you can say that, I can't speak for everyone else, okay? Some people believe that, the more money they have, the more happier they might be, but that is subjective. Well, according to this report we're going to take a look at today, it says that government set institutional policy, okay, framework in which individual businesses and government themselves operate. So a whole lot of the factors that make people happy has to do with the governance. This is what this report is talking about. So it says the links between the government and happiness operate in both directions. Okay, what government do affect happiness, and in turn, happiness of citizens in most countries determine what kind of government they support. Wow, that's a wonderful relationship. So how do we measure global happiness? Okay, I mean, I'm in the city. I'm in Canada right now, in the city of Toronto. You may be in the Caribbean. You may be in the Middle East, Asia, or Africa, watching me right now. You know, whatever country you are, let's take a look at this report and find out how happy are people and what are those factors that made these people happy. This is very interesting, guys, because when I came across this data, I just had to share with everyone, and let's see. Maybe you've come across this report before or previous report. But let's look at it together and see what we can achieve from this. Because what I understand in life is that, you see, people are always seeking pleasure, people are always seeking wealth and good reputation. It's very, very key. Those three things are very key to people. Okay, pleasure, wealth, and good reputation, which is a good name. Why each of these has some value, but none of them can occupy the place of the chief good. And what is the chief good? Okay, and which is what every humanity aims for. Everybody always achieve for this one thing. You know, whether you're pursuing wealth, you know, you're pursuing a good reputation, or you're seeking whatever form of pleasure that you may want, but there's this main thing that every humanity seeks for. You know, according to Aristotle is one of the greatest philosophers, you know, documented, a Greek philosopher. He claims that nearly everyone would agree that happiness is the end which meets all these requirements. So whether you're chasing wealth, you're chasing a good name, okay, you're seeking pleasure, at the end of it all, what are you looking for? Happiness. So what does happiness plays a very key role in our life. You know, I'm a migrant, I'm sure. One of the key reasons I migrated from, you know, my country of birth to Canada today, of course, in search of a better life, in search of happiness in its entirety. So the World Happiness Report, however, is a publication from the Sustainable Development Solutions Network. Okay, this is powered by data from the Gallup World Poll and several organizations, you know, including the Blue Chip Foundation, William Jeff and Jennifer Gross Family Foundation, and of course Unilever, ice cream brand called Wall's Ice Cream. So the World Happiness Report was written by a group of independent experts acting in their own personal capacity. So this report is neutral and they do not express any of their own views. Neither do they reflect the views of any organization, agency, or even the United Nations. So we have to get that clear. All right. What contributes to happiness? Let's take a look. What contributes to happiness? There are key variables in this report that they use as a contributing factor to being able to derive this data. Number one is the GDP per capita. So when I say GDP per capita, we're talking about, you know, per capita income, the average income, you know, which measures the average income earned by person in a given period. So what are the income? We're talking about life expectancy. How long do people live in such countries? We're talking about social support. You know, what kind of support do you get, you know, be it from family or the society or government? We're talking about generosity. How generous are people in this country? And of course, the perception of corruption. You know, how rampant is corruption in such countries. So these are the key factors. In addition to that, why number one, which is the income of people in the country and life expectancy, carry the most weight in explaining happiness level. But they are more interesting, according to the Gallup poll, which is a measure of attitudes and behavior of the world. There are other factors as well that they take into consideration. For example, social support. If you're in trouble, do you have the relatives or friends you can count on to help you whenever you need them? So that's very, very another important factor. Freedom to make life choices. Are you satisfied or dissatisfied with freedom to choose what you do with your life? So that's another contributing factor to how they measure happiness. And of course, generosity. Have you donated money to charity in the past, you know, in your country? You know, is charitable giving a norm? You know, do people, you know, go out of their way to actually help, you know, the, people in general in the society? And of course, perception of corruption. Is corruption widespread throughout the government or not? Is corruption widespread within businesses or not? So these are some of the things we're going to be looking at for each of these countries and how they rank in terms of happiness. So wherever country you may be, we're going to take a look today and see how your country ranks. So that's quite interesting, guys. Okay. So the happiest country in every continent, we all know that there's 195 countries according to United Nations in the world. And this poll that we're going to take a look at today pulls data from the World Happiness Report, like I said before, and we're going to be looking at Africa, which has about 54 countries. We are going to look at Asia with about 58 countries. We're going to look at Europe with about 44 countries, and of course Latin America and the Caribbean with about 33 countries. And we have Oceania. Oceania, we're talking about Australia, New Zealand, etc. Fiji, North America, of course. When you talk of North America, what comes to your mind? Canada, United States of America. Okay, guys. But this is a very, very interesting report. But before we go into each of those continents and looking at the most happy and least happy people in each of those countries, we're going to go on a quick break, okay? But we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be able to see, which country has the happiest people, or the saddest or least happy people. So why don't you sit back, relax, okay? Let's go on a quick break, and once we come back, we're going to start with each of these continents and talk about each of those countries that are the happiest or have the least happiest people. So sit back, relax, and we'll be right back.
My name is Carol, and I'm currently a project coordinator. I took the project management course. I learned a number of things, one of which was interview skills. I learned about the Agile framework and how that's very different from the waterfall model of project management.
At Top Run Consulting, the key unique area that we try to focus on is not to just impart certification knowledge, but the application of real-world tools.
Back in June 2017, I did the business analysis course at Top Run. I learned the basic and advanced skills and tools to be successful in business analysis fields.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Spotlight Show. If you're just joining me, welcome to the show. You just came in at the right time. And if you have been listening, before we went to a break, we talked about the different continents and countries and how this particular data we're going to look at today, measuring happiness, amongst the citizens of every country, and how each of these countries rank as the happiest country and the least happiest country. So thank you once again. So why don't we go straight to the report? Yes, behind me you see. Okay, so everybody understand that this is the world map. Okay, we talked about this last year, and we're talking about last episode. Okay, I don't go into that. We're talking about the size of various continents, but this is the map we are used to. Okay, guys, and you can see we have the Europe, Africa, North America. Of course, Oceania, and the rest country there. But in this report, even though there are 195 countries according to UN. Not included in these 195 countries are Cook Islands and other countries and dependency that they are not they are self-governing. Because I don't know, for a lot of people that don't know, according to UN, Taiwan and Hong Kong, are still dependent on China. We also know that Puerto Rico is dependent on USA, Bermuda is dependent on UK. So all those countries are not part of this report. Okay, it's just the main 95 countries. So let's go to the first continent. My first continent is North America. So we're going to go away from that map. Yes. So this map is quite interesting. Let's zoom into that map and let's take a look at North America. You see, so the World Happiness Report, took a look at this North American continent to actually understand, based on those factors I spoke about before with regards to, income earned by the citizens, in life expectancy, social support, freedom of choice, generosity, and of course, corruption. So North America is quite an interesting one because in North America, when we think of North America, we think of United States of America, which America is very popular. But however, America doesn't seem to be the happiest country in North America. Why? They keep going down in terms of happiness. And the reports attribute that to things like addiction, workaholism, gambling, internet, and of course, many other things, results to America being a bit sad and not the happiest country. So actually in the report for 2019, America came second, and the happiest country actually was Canada. So Canada ranked as the happiest country in North America, followed by Costa Rica, and of course USA is the third, and Mexico is the fourth. So guys, if you're looking for the happiest country in North America, Canada. Okay, guys, Canada is ranked as the happiest country, looking at those factors. So next time you're making decisions about North America, looking at, what are the happiest places, now remember that it's Canada. Not because we're broadcasting live from Canada, is what the report says, guys, okay? All right, let's go to the next continent because we have a lot to cover today. The next continent we're going to look at, of course, it's South America. South America, when I read this report, what I could get from this report is that people in South America are quite content. That's the truth of the matter. The mood in South America is that they are content, okay? Which is quite interesting. So the country in South America with the most happy people, you guessed right, according to the report on my screen, is Chile. Chile is number 26 on global ranking, but they are number 1 in South America in terms of happiness. The second place goes to Brazil and Uruguay, and of course, Colombia and Argentina follows. Well, which country has the most saddest citizens in South America? As you can see from the map, the country with the saddest citizens is Venezuela. And why is that? You know, for some reason, it's due to there's a lot of hyperinflation. You know, there's been some humanitarian crisis as reported by this report. Hence, why a lot of citizens in this country are not happy as those in Chile. All right, guys. So that's it. South America, and is currently Venezuela is currently 108 out of 106. So even though Venezuela is the saddest country in South America, you know, they still rank higher than many countries, because out of 156 countries in this report, Venezuela, even though they're the saddest, they were 108. Okay, let's go to the next continent quickly. Next continent is Europe. Yes, so all my listeners in Europe, let's see where your country ranks in terms of happiness. Because a lot of people will be thinking, oh, happiest country, what countries are those? Yes, you guessed right. Finland is number 1 in Europe, and Finland is number 1 in the world. I do not understand it. Honestly speaking, I don't understand how Finland, year after year, right now, they still remain the happiest. So I really need to, take a look closer into Finland and see what are those things that's making people in Finland so happy. Okay, guys, so Finland, the current mood in Europe right now seems to be happy. A lot of countries are very happy in Europe, which is very good for them. Finland comes out on top, okay, for the second consecutive year. Not even second. They were first in 2018, 2019, and even in 2020, because I have the 2020 report right there on my desk. So Finland is doing amazingly well. And the report says that it's due to stable work-life balance. Wow, that's interesting. And also with the welfare state. So I guess the government is very caring, and they take care of their citizens. I don't know how many, what's the population size, but for some reason, they're very happy. All right, so when compared against all countries in the world, we found that Scandinavian countries such as Finland, Iceland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, they all appear to be the happiest nations. This is interesting, because I would have thought the happiest nation came from Africa, but according to this report, the happiest nations are actually from, what do they call it? The Scandinavian countries, actually. So let's continue. Sorry about that interruption. So we're going to continue. So apart from Finland, we also see that in Europe, when compared against all the countries, we see that Scandinavians are at the top. In Europe, Ukraine seems to be the unhappiest. That's what we see in this report. So you can see, you take a look on the World Happiness Report, and you can also see every other country there. So let's go to the next country, which is Middle East and Asia. So Middle East and Asia, yes, let's zoom into that map. Because right now, the current mood, as at the time of this report, it shows that Middle East and Asia is a bit complicated, It's a bit complicated right now. People don't really understand the mood right now, because I myself, when I look at the report, I was a bit confused, because what this graphic is showing us, that we've actually taken Middle East and Central Asia and grouped those countries together to actually look at which is the most happiest. So what I find out about this report is that Uzbekistan shows this, the swifter regional improvement, as the country has launched a whole lot of reform for economic, social, and political development, and they are now number 41. So that's very good improvement. However, Syria continues to decline in terms of happiness, because we know what's happening in Syria with the civil war. And one thing I couldn't understand is that, because right now, apart from Syria, even Israel has conflict with Palestine, and you would think that would have affected the mood of the country. But in the Middle East, the happiest country seems to be Israel. I don't know how they're able to do this. It seems the citizens are very happy. So we need to take a look and see what are some of those things, that make citizens of Israel very happy. Anyhow, Israel finished with the 13th best score globally. So in terms, Finland is number 1 in the world, and number 13 is Israel. And Israel is number 1 in the Middle East. So let's go to the rest of Asia, because this is just Middle East and Central Asia. Let's go to the next graphics, which talks about East Asia. So East Asia and Oceania is what was grouped together. And like you see, the current mode is, of course, neutral in East Asia. For some reason, East Asia, such as North Korea, South Korea, and Japan, the average happiness score is, it's a bit good. Taiwan is actually leading in East Asia as the country with the happiest citizens. So far, the most improved country is Philippines. Philippines is doing very, very well. But however, in Oceania, Australia and New Zealand are very close. You can see 7.3 is their happiness score out of 8. So they're doing, Australia and New Zealand people are quite happy there, which is quite interesting. And what is the least happiest? What is the least happy country in this part of the world? India seems to be the least happy in East Asia. Okay, so that is that. And let's go to, of course, my favorite, okay, Africa. Let's take a look at Africa. So for all my African brothers and sisters watching, you want to take a look at this particular report, go online and search, you see for yourself. And the current mood in Africa, according to this report, is like, people are quite unhappy right now. Well, that's true, because if Africa had indicated, the report that said Africans are generally happy, I would have disagreed with that, because a whole lot of things is happening in the continent. And, the report ranks 156 countries, and in the bottom of those reports, a lot of African countries are there. So anyway, we now know that the happiest country in Africa is actually ranked 57 out of all the countries in the world. As you can see from this graphic, Mauritius seems to be, the island of Mauritius seems to be the country with the most happy people in Africa. That is quite interesting. Not only that, I also noticed that, Algeria, Libya, and Nigeria has happy people. There's 54 countries in Africa, and these are the top 4 countries that has people, the happiest people. Quite interesting. I mean, Nigeria is my country of birth, and I never knew that, we rank very high in terms of happiness across the whole of Africa. That is quite interesting. And you should notice on that map, Sudan and Angola, there was no report for those countries. So it's quite interesting when I came across this particular report, and I had to share that. With you. So I don't know what you think so far. It's been quite interesting. And these are the trends right now that is happening across the world. Because now we're talking about COVID-19, we're talking about a lot of dirt and different things, business closure. I had to brighten your day and bring this report that despite all this happenings, we still have to be happy, because looking at this report, looking at every country out of the world there, you can see that you are in some of the most happiest country. In some of the most happiest country in the world. So we need to be very grateful for that, and then look at steps that we can take, to also be well informed, equip ourselves to make very wise decisions and taking advantage of this report and this data. Okay, so I'm very, very happy that I am in the happiest country in North America, which is Canada. I'm happy that, of course, my country of birth in Africa over there are a lot of countries, and Nigeria is number 4 in terms of happiness. We're not happy with some of the things that's happening there right now, and we know that things will improve definitely, because we Nigerians are all over the globe doing exceptionally well, and I believe our country of birth, our home, mother's land, is going to improve drastically. Well, before I let you go, I also wanted to share the 2020 report, just to let you know that a lot of things didn't really change. Finland still remains, the country with the highest number of people, followed by Denmark and Switzerland. And of course, in North America, most of the countries, the top 10 countries are all European countries. Then, of course, the first non-European country in the list is Canada, being number 11. So a whole lot of the countries still maintain their ranking from 2019. But what is very, very interesting is that when you take a look at this report, there's different factors in terms of what the conclusion comes to be in terms of how each of these countries are ranked. Even though Finland is number 1 country, is the country with the most happiest people, Finland didn't score much in terms of other factors like freedom, corruption, generosity. In Europe, actually, the country with the most social support is actually Iceland. Okay, and the country with the least corruption is actually Denmark. And in Europe, the country with the most corruption, I found out, was actually what? Slovakia. Okay, so, and if we go back to, this is 2019 report, in terms of our brothers in the Caribbean, some of the countries doing that, the most happy country in the Caribbean is Costa Rica. That's what the report says, followed by Trinidad and Tobago, followed by Guatemala, Panama, Brazil. But in terms of the Caribbean, we know Costa Rica is there, followed by Trinidad and Tobago, and of course Jamaica. Of course, is a happy island. I know Aruba is a happy island. So Aruba is not actually here because it's a dependent country on Netherlands. Okay, guys. So, and if we go further and take a look at Africa, and we find out that in terms of income, in the Middle East, the country with the most GDP, which is income, is actually Qatar. Wow, I'm very happy for, people in Qatar right now. And obviously Nigeria in sub-Saharan Africa, we know that Mauritius is the is the country with the most happy people, and of course followed by Nigeria and the other countries I mentioned, which is quite interesting. So the other report I really want to share, which is quite interesting, is the cities. So we know that these countries have the highest number of happy people. But what are those cities that have the most number of happy people in each of this region? And I have to share that with you. So Finland is the country with the most amount of happy people, but which city in Finland? So I'm going to tell you which city in Finland actually has the most amount of happy people. And you guessed right, Helsinki. Helsinki is the city with the most amount of happy people. And if we go to North America, starting with Canada. Canada, what city in Canada has the most amount of happy people? You guessed right, Toronto. Toronto has it. All right, guys, so I wonder what's happening in the other cities. So this is interesting. And if we go to USA, which country in America has which city in America has the most amount of happy people? Washington, followed by Dallas. Wow, Dallas, that's interesting. I know there's a lot of Africans in Dallas and the weather is very good. So I guess there's something happening there. Maybe, there's a lot of generosity. The standard of living is very good. So I want to point that out. And when we go back to Middle East, the city in Middle East with the most amount of happy people is actually Abu Dhabi, followed by Dubai, which is quite interesting. Okay, and of course Medina in Saudi Arabia. And let's go to the continent of Africa. What city in the continent of Africa has the most amount of happy people? And that goes to Algiers in Algeria. That's interesting. Followed by Niamey in Niger. Wow, that's interesting. That Niamey in Niger has the most amount of happy people in terms of city, in terms of global ranking of cities, based on life evaluation, meaning that what they expect in life. You understand? So life evaluation is what this is the major factor in this ranking, and followed by Tripoli in Libya, and of course we have Accra in Ghana, Freetown in Sierra Leone, and Cape Town in South Africa. I'm looking for which of the cities in Nigeria seem to have happy people based on current life evaluation, and that's quite interesting. Where are you? Okay, I thought I marked it down. Okay, well, we'll check the report and find out which city in Nigeria has the most amount of happy people based on current life evaluation. Okay, and what that means is that, how positive the people in this city evaluate their lives on average. So people are very hopeful, very optimistic. So that's what this report is all about. And guys, as we come to the end of the show, I want to say a quick thank you to everyone, who will always remain, a supporter of this particular show, and of course our network GBKM. And remember, we have other shows on this platform. Go to our website www.gbkm.fm. You see current and past shows. Even today, we have another wonderful show coming up after this particular episode. This particular production was Spotlight. The King's Domain. So guys, please remember to download the app on the App Store and Play Store, and of course, share this video. When you see the recordings on WhatsApp channel, share, make people happy. Let them see that, of course, there are other things in this life apart from, some of the things that we bother ourselves with, So if your country is considered one of the happiest, because if you look at this ranking, there's a country actually that is considered the country with the least amount of happy people, okay? So, and that is South Sudan. So if you're not from South Sudan, you should be happy. Okay, South Sudan seems to be, I don't know, maybe because of the conflict there, but I'm very, very interested to find out why Finland, year after year, remains the happiest, the country with the happiest people. So I'm going to leave you with that, okay? Take that information and run with it. And of course, we're going to be back next week, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is about 8 p.m. in Greenwich, in GMT. Okay, so guys, remember the time zone, and of course, when you go back to our YouTube channel, you're going to see this video, this recording, and of course, you can share, like, subscribe, comment, send us an email, spotlight@gbkm.fm, okay, or you can find me on Instagram at Jaybes, Jaybes. And guys, remember, I always tell you every week, be that role model. Wherever you are and you see happiness, that's your home, okay? Make the best of it. Participate in politics, participate in, economic development, community services. Come on, guys, no man is an island, okay, guys? Reach out, network is very, very important. And of course, you have that idea, why not monetize it, okay? Think of multiple streams of income, businesses. If you need help, reach out to us at GBKM, GBKM Network. network, or send me an email, spotlight@gbkm.fm, guys. So I'm very, very happy every week being here with you. And as I leave, I'm going to leave you with this. Remember, you are always in the spotlight, and the change you seek begins with you. Good night.
My name is Carol, and I'm currently a project coordinator. I took the project management course. I learned a number of things, one of which was interview skills. I learned about the Agile framework and how that's very different from the waterfall model of project management.
At Top Run Consulting, the key unique area that we try to focus on is not to just impart certification knowledge, but the application of real-world tools.
Back in June 2017, I did the business analysis course at Top Run. I learned the basic and advanced skills and tools to be successful in business analysis field.